What's the worst song to play at a funeral? My father chose the music for my uncle's funeral. I didn't recognize the title, however, at the intense moment that the curtains drew around the coffin, out blurted the Looney Tunes theme. We were horrified and my dad sat there hunched over giggling to himself. If there was an understanding between him and his brother that he would have enjoyed the joke too, I think it's hilarious. Especially if it was Porky Pig going "That's all folks." I'd love that to be at my funeral. Fun fact, the voice actor who played Porky Pig has "That's all, folks" on his tombstone. Celebrate, by Kool and the Gang. So my grandmother recently passed and my dad played this at her funeral. Bless his heart, he was really trying to be not too miserable. His perspective was that it is supposed to be a celebration of their life. I actually sang this as part of a hired choir at someone's funeral. It was meant as a celebration of the guy's life. Unfortunately, we sang it right after the mother made a heart-wrenching speech about how not only had she lost her husband in the last year, she'd now lost her son. It was the longest 4 minutes of my life. Target eliminated Hitman soundtrack. Just ignore the bald guy with a code bar on his forehead ominously standing at the corner. Geez, so rude, give him credits for the kill. Whoa dude, uncool, don't badmouth Mr. Reaper like that, he came to give his condolences. My roommate from college died a few years ago. He had tweeted once at my funeral, "Put my iPod on shuffle, if Laffy Taffy comes on while people are paying their respects, so be it." Well, you can be damn sure that song came on. Jesus, how old was he? Sounds like he must have died pretty young for pretty much any of those things to take place. Yeah, he was like 22 or 23. Blood clot. No warning at all. The whole thing was totally fucked. It was a dark day, but when that opening riff of Laffy Taffy came on, we simply had no choice but to smile. Jesus was 33 and some change when he died on the cross. When I was in college, a girl died when she was hit by a car on her bike. They held a service on the quad and played Crash Into Me by DMB. Not the greatest choice. It's also a song about sex/fingering someone, so it's even less appropriate for a funeral. Double oof. I went to a wedding a while back and this was what the bride had chosen for her father-daughter dance. Fucking big yikes. Bring me to life. Hashtag wake me up inside, hashtag wake me up inside, hashtag call my name and save me from the dark. The national anthem of anime music videos. And Linkin Park music. Lots of in the end AMV's good times. As a funeral director, there is no wrong answer. Had a service for someone before their cremation and it ended with the song "Roll Me Up and Smoke Me When I Die" by Willie Nelson. This song was played at a friend's funeral. Definitely sparked some giggles. Hey, sparked. One of my good friends sang "Hallelujah" by Leonard Cohen at her father's funeral, but when they tried to play the music for it, someone messed it up and instead they blasted "Let's Get It On" through the speakers first. I'm Alright by Kenny Loggins. Bonus if you have a go for puppet dancing while it plays. Honestly, I think that's a great song. I would love this at mine. Nice cheerful song. I would hope my family is alright. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more appropriate it seems. I really feel it's the opposite of what the topic is asking. Ghostbusters. Bonus points for Bustin' by Neil Cicierega. My friend has requested since high school that when he dies we play the Ghostbusters theme song and shoot him out of a cannon for his funeral. Tetris theme song. Well, the long coffin piece does perfectly fit in the hole in the ground. Line piece. I'm so glad I'm not the only one who saw this and immediately said line piece with a maniacal intonation. And then the entire graveyard drops by a few feet. Baby, come back. Such a jam dome. Highway to Hell. Baby got back. Pop goes the weasel at a closed casket funeral. I die from anticipation. Then you've come to the right place. That would be a hilarious prank if they had a piston in there to push on the top slightly once in a while throughout the funeral. Or if they had someone turning a crank attached to the casket while the music played, lol. They had it coming, Chicago the musical. So I'm standing in the kitchen, carving up a chicken for dinner, minding my own business. When in storms my husband, Wilbur, in a jealous rage. "You've been screwing the milkman," he said. He was crazy, and he kept on screaming, "You've been screwing the milkman." And then he ran into my knife. He ran into my knife 10 times. You know, some guys just can't hold their arsenic. It's the best day ever from SpongeBob. I want that song for my funeral. My family wants that song for my funeral. If that's not playing, I ain't attending mine. I'm pretty sure most of Reddit agrees. My father died in 2019, pre-COVID, and during his wake me and the siblings with our mother's permission had a playlist during the wake. Here's a few of the songs from the list. Queen, Another One Bites the Dust. Kansas, Dust in the Wind. From The Sound of Music, So Long, Farewell. The Doors, The End. Harry Chapin, The Cat's in the Cradle. Cat Stevens, Father and Son. Buddy Holly, That'll Be the Day. Vera Lynn, We'll Meet Again. There were other songs that were his favorites, but we added some of those in to make people smile. It was more a celebration of life than mourning his death. They played I Did It My Way at my great-aunt's funeral. She killed herself. Edit, no need for well wishes, it happened in '87, but thanks anyway. Edit 2, it was the Sinatra version. Well, your family's got a dark sense of humor, I'll give you that. At least they didn't go with That's Life. At least they didn't go with That's Life. Or always look on the bright side of life, Whistle, Whistle. Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. Bad for a funeral but great for CPR. I saw you in the parking lot earlier. He has no wallet, I checked. At first I was afraid, I was petrified. Alive by Pearl Jam. Went to a funeral once where they actually played this. It was the last song he listened to on his iPod. Went to a funeral once where they actually played this. It was the last song he listened to on his iPod. Was this Shane Gerald's funeral? FCK. The irony. Wake Me Up Before You Go by Wham. My mom legitimately wants this at her funeral. Don't leave her hanging on like a yo-yo. It's honestly ruined the song for me. She thinks it'll be funny, but she's never had much of a sense of humor. My dad died almost a month ago. We had to drive from England to Scotland after a call that he was in hospital and time was of the essence. On the motorway, Spotify regaled us with such classics as Don't Fear the Reaper, Break On Through, To the Other Side, and Highway to Hell. At some point during this concert from Hades, a loaded hearse joined the motorway and we had to sit behind it for a while. The universe has a Cards Against Humanity level sense of humor. Edit, majority of replies to this has cemented my last sentence on here. My husband got cancer at 31, and when we were driving to the hospital for the operation and chemotherapy, the song Some Die Young started to play. I hope you're both doing okay now. Part. Let the bodies hit the floor. They're trying to tell me Coffin Flop's not a show. If Corncob TV gets dropped from Spectrum's lineup, I will be super pissed off. I've never been so angry in my entire life. You need to call them and tell them no. Cremation, this girl is on fire. If this were to ever happen at a funeral, and they were cremated, I'd more than likely piss myself with laughter. Was at a funeral for a friend, a hit, about 10 years ago, another friend wanted to sing at her funeral. I thought, well, how awesome is this? Until he got up to sing. Voice cracking, off-key, used wrong lyrics, and then there is me, lip quivering, sweating, and another friend looked back and saw me. We both had to get up and use the restroom. Laughter just exploded. After a good 10 minutes, we walked out, eyes red, tears streaming still, and a family member of the deceased came up and hugged us, expressing how wonderful it was that the deceased touched us so much to be in tears. That is such a great story. If you're happy and you know it. You can't spell funeral without fun. And you can't spell fun without FU. If you're happy and you know it, decompose. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, decompose. Ding dong, The Wizard of Oz is the witch is dead. Didn't people play this when Margaret Thatcher died? It topped the UK charts the week she died. It got to number 2. When we were teens, my mom used to tell my brothers and me that she knew we would be singing this at her funeral. Trust me, we would not. We love her, but still funny to think about.